Hello queens, I'm back at y'all with another video, and today I'm showing y'all how I created this neutral blown out cut crease. And like all the other tutorials, we're jumping straight into the video. I'm starting it by cleaning my client's face. Now I'm just proceeding to doing her eyebrows. So I'm using my Nicka K brow pencil. This one is in the shade black brown, and I'm using this to outline her brows first. Now that both of her brows have been outlined, I'm going to start filling them in. And to fill in the majority of her eyebrows, I'm going to stick to the shade black brown. And once I've made it to the front of her eyebrows, I'm going to switch it out to a lighter shade. So this pencil is in the shade light brown. I love to use a lighter shade at the front of the brows just because it'll make it a whole lot easier to blend everything out. And I love for it to have a nice ombre look. So as you can see, I'm brushing it all in place, and now I'm just adding more if needed. Before I go in and clean her eyebrows up, I'm going in with this clear INV brush on lash glue, and I'm applying this throughout her eyebrow hairs just to lay them down in place. And to mold them, I'm using the spoolie end of my eyebrow pencil. To clean up her brows, I'm going in with these two concealers. One is from RK by Kiss and the other is from Nicka K. First, I'm going in with the Nicka K concealer, which was in the shade 07, and I'm using this to clean up her arch. Now that I have the bottom of her arch nice and clean, I'm going in with this buffing brush and I'm using it to blend out that concealer. And for the remainder of the way, I'm just going in with my RK by Kiss concealer, and it was in the shade Toast. If you are familiar with any of my other videos, then you're probably very used to me using the same shades when it comes to concealer, foundation, and powder. And that's only because my clients, y'all, all their shades are very similar to each other, and my clientele is predominantly black. So I don't normally have to go out of the shade range when it comes to doing my client. Now that I'm finished cleaning up this brow, I'm going to follow the same technique on the other side. As y'all can see, we have two nice clean eyebrows, so I'm gonna go ahead and blend out this concealer. Now I'm going in with my Dermablend translucent powder, and I'm pressing this throughout the front of her eyebrows to lighten them up, and I'm also using it to set some of the concealer in place. For an eyeshadow base, I'm going in with my e.l.f. Camo Concealer, and this is in the shade White. I went ahead and applied some to her lids. Now I'm just blending this out throughout her eye. You want to make sure you blend it out as even as possible, because if you have an even base, you will also have even eyeshadows. To start this eyeshadow look off, I'm going in with my Technic palette, and I'm taking that warm brown shade at the bottom that I hit pan on, and I'm using it as a transition shade. So as y'all can see, it's like a reddish brown, and I'm applying this to the outer edge of her eye, but I'm going to start bringing it towards the front of her eyebrows. And to apply this shade, I'm just using a blending brush, and I believe I got this from Shop Miss A. Next, I'm going in with this cool brown eyeshadow that's also from my Technic palette, and I'm taking it on this Wet n Wild tapered blending brush, and I'm just applying this to her crease. I wanted her crease to be very intense, so I'm making sure I really build this color up, and once I have it built up, I'm going back in with my transition shade just to make sure it's all blended. To cut her crease, I'm going to be going back in with my e.l.f. Camo Concealer, and it was in the shade White. As y'all can see, I'm just stamping on my shape. I like to take my time with this part just because This is a very tedious process, y'all, okay? This is the most important step. You want to make sure your cut crease is round and as neat and crisp as you can get it. And to map out my shape, I'm just using this flat synthetic brush that I got from the Dollar Tree. It was like $1, y'all, but it's my favorite brush to use for cut creases because it's very precise. And I'm just going to let y'all watch this part. Once I'm satisfied with my shape, I'm going to go ahead and blend out that concealer and repeat the same process on the other side. I don't know about all the other makeup artists out there, but I usually have to be right in my client's face whenever I'm doing a cut crease, just because I'm a perfectionist, y'all. I love for every detail to be in place and where it should be. So please excuse my hair and for my head blocking this camera. But as y'all can see, I did a nice clean shape, and now I'm just blending out that concealer. And once you have both of the eyes cut, it should look something like this. I'm going back in with my transition shade and I'm using it to blend out the edge of my cut crease. After I'm finished packing on that transition shade, I'm going back in with that cool brown and I'm reapplying it to the end of her cut crease. Now I'm going in with this matte white eyeshadow and I'm just pressing this at the front of her cut crease. This eyeshadow came from my Bperfect Carnival XL palette. I don't know the shade name, but it's just white, y'all. It's white. Now I'm going in with this beige eyeshadow. This one came from my Morphe 35B palette, and to pack on this and the white shade, I just went in with my e.l.f. eyeshadow brush. You really can't tell a difference between it and the white, but I just decided to do this. So as y'all can see, I just applied it to the center, and now I'm going back in with my transition shade just to blend the two shades together. I decided that I wanted the center of her cut crease to be a little warmer, so I'm taking this mustard yellow shade from my Jaclyn Hill times Morphe palette, and I mixed it with a little bit of that beige shade, and I just tapped it in the center using my blending brush from Shop Miss A. I will have that shade name in the description box down below, as well as any other shade that I use. But as y'all can see, that blend was blending. Okay, so now I'm going in with my Wet n Wild black liquid liner, and I'm using this to draw a straight line across her eyes because I am gonna do my blown out wing technique. So if you haven't seen that in any of my other videos, you will get to see it in this one. Now that both of her eyes have been lined, I'm going in with this black eyeshadow on a pencil brush, and I'm just sketching out the shape of a wing, and I'm making sure I connect it to that line I already drew across her eye. Now that her eyes are finished, this is what they're looking like. We're moving on to the face. So I'm going in with my e.l.f. matte poreless putty primer. I went ahead and cleaned and moisturized her face off camera. So now I'm just going in with this on my damp Real Technique sponge, and I'm focusing this product in her T-zone. Now I'm going in with my calamine lotion, and I'm also applying this to her T-zone. A lot of y'all keep asking me why I use this. I like to make sure that makeup is gonna stay all day, okay? So even though I use that matte poreless putty primer, I feel like this is stronger, so I like to use them together just to give me that extra assurance that I need. So I'm going back in with my Real Technique sponge, and I'm using it to press this product into her skin. And once I have that all pressed in, I'm going in with this Fit Me foundation, which is in the shade Nutmeg, and I'm gonna be applying this to her face. I only went in with one shade for this video, y'all. Yes girl, one shade. So I applied it to her face, and now I'm just blending it out using this dense foundation brush. Now that her face has been fully covered, I'm going to go ahead and highlight her using my Nicka K concealer in the shade 07. To blend out the concealer, I'm going in with the same brush that I used to blend out her foundation, and I'm just tapping it all in place. I'm going to take whatever excess concealer is left on my brush, and I'm going to use it to clean up her wing. Now I'm just going in and blending out the concealer under her eyes, and to do so I'm using my Real Technique sponge. To set the concealer in place, I'm going in with my Fit Me pressed powder, and it's in the shade Golden Dore. If you can't find the shade Golden Dore, I suggest you use the shade Toffee. I'm going on top of that Fit Me pressed powder with my Morphe loose powder, and it's in the shade Banana. I'm bronzing up her face using my Black Radiance press powder, and it's in the shade Black Coffee. To set the remaining areas of her face, I'm going in with another Black Radiance press powder, and this one is in the shade Rich Mahogany. I went ahead and lined about half of her waterline. Now I'm going in with some black eyeshadow, and I'm applying this to her lower lash line. I'm gonna go back in with my foundation brush, and I'm using it to sweep away all of the powder. As y'all can see, I went ahead and set her face. Now I'm just going in with lashes, and I cut them to fit her eyes off camera. Now I'm just gluing them to her lash line. I decided to go in with some big blinks, y'all. I've been into big blinks lately, okay? If it's not your preference, you can use something else, but for this look, we went dramatic, okay? To highlight her face, I'm using one of the highlighters from my Bperfect Carnival XL palette. It's just like a gold shade, and I'm applying it to the high points of her face. I went ahead and cleaned her lips off camera. Now I'm just going in with my LA Colors dark brown eyebrow pencil, and I'm using this to outline her lips because I will be doing an ombre lip. I'm going in the center of her lips with my Zerura liquid lipstick, and it's in the shade number 39. And I like to apply a generous amount to the bottom of my client's lips. Then I like to have them press their lips together to help me blend the lip gloss into the liner. I wanted her lips to be a little bit more glossy, so after I blend them out, I'm going on top of them with this clear lip gloss from my local beauty supply store. And once I have that all applied, y'all, that'll basically be the finished look. And we'll be getting into the grand reveal, so I'm gonna let y'all watch.
Okay, ready to see?
Wow. Oh, I look good.
Yes.
Oh, I look good, y'all. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it.
Yes.
Oh, I love this. It's too cute.
Okay, queens, that is the end of this video. As y'all can see by my client's reaction, this tutorial was another success. She loved this look, and y'all already know I loved it as well. I think it's perfect for any special occasion that you may have coming up. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for my next one. Bye bye, queens.